Alright dudes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As you guys see today, we are putting a short shifter in the Evo 10. We do have the Torque Solutions short shifter, which I'll go over in 1 second. We decided to get all the bushings. It's petty money to get the extra ones and definitely worth it. It changes out all these rubber ones for a solid piece. So let's go ahead and go over the things that we got here, and then we'll go ahead and get straight into it. Alright, so to go over the parts that come with this kit, you do have the Torque Solutions short shifter, which is a 32% reduction in throw from first to second style, and as well as a 1.25 inches down on that. You also have all your bushings here. So all these bushings get changed out with this, it's like a super hard plastic style thing, and changes out all the rubber bushings instead. It makes all the shifting super, super tight and crisp. You also have all of these ones as well that come with it that go under the engine bay that go onto the shift linkages. So these will go on the shift linkages, which we'll actually get into those right away under the engine bay, because I think that's a little tougher than doing the ones that are inside of the car. And then we will go ahead and get into the car. All right, and also we did get the gate shift selector bushings as well. So that's the other one that's included with the kit. So yeah. All right, so as I said, we are going to be changing out the rubber squishy bushings for these hard plastic style ones. So to get to that onto the top of the shift linkage, which is on top of the transmission, what we're going to be doing is I already clipped this zip tie right here to make this nice and loose so I can move it. I'm going to take off the blow-off valve to give me some movement, and I can get my arm back there. And there's going to be a 10 millimeter on the blow-off valve holding this onto the actual intake pipe. And the intake pipe is what I'm trying to get removed. So right where it connects to the turbo, you'll notice there's another 10. You just loosen that up and you can slide this whole piping system right out, and we'll have full access to the top. As you guys can see, this is the 10 millimeter that I was talking about that is actually connected to the turbo inlet, on that metal inlet that goes straight into the turbo. So just loosen that up. I'm just going to set this to the side right here because I don't need to fully disconnect it. You can take this little piping out, but not even necessary. Now we have full access here, so I'll change camera views and you guys can see right into the top of this transmission. Alright, I immediately lied to you guys. I actually just squeezed this with my hand and pulled this off and just popped this off because I'll just get this right out the way to get out of my elbows. Alright, so this is the top of the transmission. As I said, these are the shifter cables that actually go in. So right here, you're just going to be removing this little pin off the top, and that way you can just take off these little washers and this whole unit just slides right up, as well as the back one, the same deal. There's a little tiny little metal piece just like this one. Slide it out and you're going to be able to just take the washers off. Make sure that you don't mix match the way those washers go in, and we'll go ahead and get straight to popping the new ones in. Alright, so with the pin out, you go ahead and slide off your first little washer. Remember to keep them in order. This whole little unit just slides right up and over. Bam, just like that. And go ahead and reach in the back one, which is a little harder to see, but this back one is the same type of deal. You just have the little pin back there. It's going to be almost mission impossible to get a vision on that. But yeah, just pop out your pin, take off your washers, make sure you keep those in order, and we'll slide the other one off just like this one did. All right, and there they are, man. We already popped these bushings out. To get those things out, back here, as you can see, we got the old empty rings now. All you do is literally just push some force into those, and those slide right out. So just give some force, get them out there. This is that front bigger one that we had the washer on top of and the little pin that goes through it. This is the back one that I thought had a pin, but does not. It actually has this little swinging door thing. And whenever it goes over here, as you can see, it flexes around there. It holds it into the little grooves right there. We'll not be reusing this because that thing is a piece of garbage. So let's go ahead and grab the new ones and get straight into putting those in. All right, and to get that side-by-side comparison, as you can see here, these are the replacements. So to get rid of this super squishy rubber one right here, you're going to get this new hard composite style one. It's just going to go up like that, and as you can see, there is a little slot on there. That slot is taken up by this little thing that goes over it like that, and you'll still put a pin through just like normal. And the back one gets replaced again with the same kind of deal. You do have that little lip, so you're going to be putting it this way, which you'll see me do in a second anyways. Put it this way, you put that little ring thing around it just like the other one, and then instead of having this little overlapping thing, you get this little prong thing that pops over there. Again, I will do this in a second so you see it on the camera, but just to show you close up. Before we get into that though, you want to jump back over and down in here. We're going to do the gate shift selector bushing next. So the empty rings, we got all our stuff laid out. You're going to be getting off just this portion right back here, right where I'm pointing at. You're going to have these two 12mm bolts, which I'm pointing at. My fingers are over right now. You're going to take those off, and you're actually going to take that assembly off, and we're going to disassemble it to change out the little bushings inside. Mind you, when you do that, right here on the back side, I'll show you a better picture in a second, right where my finger's at, those are the bolts right here, you're going to see this little white piece, okay? Don't drop that little white plastic piece accidentally. Be very careful to get that out. You need to be able to put that back in. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and then we will disassemble it. Okay, great. So now we have the gate shift selector out of the car. As you can see here, we did just take our two 12mm bolts out of there. It just slid right up. Again, I pre-warned you, but do warn yourself. You got this little plastic piece, which as you can see is not held in. You're going to need to have that back because that hugs this little section. Self-explanatory as you took it out, but don't lose that. So right now I'm just going to set this to the side though, move my two 12s because we're going to be disassembling this portion to swap it out with these two pieces. It's that hard composite, crazy stuff, whatever, taking away from the rubber bushings that are inside of this. So you're just going to pop this cap off just like that, nice and simple. 12mm bolt here. I did already loosen this. This is obviously tightened down there really good. So I just loosened up the 12mm here, and then you're going to slide off your lock washer, your regular washer, and then you can actually just pull this thing right out from itself just like that. After that, you're going to be wanting to press out this little piece right here. So just from the back side, you should be able to get a flathead or whatever you want and pop that out. The blue one is getting replaced with this hard composite, which I might be putting the word right here of what it's called, but bam, that's it. So you're going to take that and you're just going to be putting that right inside this side. You're going to give a little bit of force to it. Basically pressing that in with your hand, pretty tough there. And then you're gonna be taking this and you're just gonna be sliding that right on through. Now you could apply grease to right here, which I'm gonna do actually right now, just to make it nice and smooth for the, cause this does go back and forth like that. Apply a little bit of grease, press this through just like that. Again, I'm gonna do grease in a second. And then you take your new little plastic piece and you're gonna be putting that on this side right here. So small ring portion right here to match the ring right there. Flatten that up just like that. Then you'll be putting your washer back on, put your lock washer back on, and tighten your 12mm nut back down. After that is tightened back down, you will be able to take your little cap and pop that right over the top, just like normal, just like stock, back in at, and you'll be back and forth over here, zero more movement since you got rid of all the little rubber bushings over here and the plastic piece of crap. So that will make that slight bit of difference. So we'll go ahead and reassemble this with the two 12s. Don't forget to take your little white piece, put this back on just like that, and slide it in the same exact position it was in with those tightened down. And then we will get to the bushings that are onto the top of the transmission. All right, bam, so gate shift selector back in action, man. You saw me put the white piece on there to make sure that is in line, tighten those 12mm back down, and now it is to get these rings all filled up with your new bushing. So you got your big one up in the front here, smaller one in the back. We'll do the smaller one first. This is the little piece. Again, you have your little slot, which that little ring kind of goes around on. So the lip is going to be facing towards you just like this. So you see the lip facing towards you. I'm going to be putting it in just like that, and then I'll be taking this little piece right here, this little ring, and then I'll put that ring around it. So the ring goes around that on the back side of it as it goes through. You'll see me do it here in a second, but just to explain it before I do that. And then you actually take this little clip right here, this little clip that you can get a horrible vision on right now, I do apologize, and you actually just slide that right on over, flat part obviously being against there, and that's that for that portion. All right, and there it is. Again, pain in the butt the way I did it, but you just slide that through with the lip facing towards you. Put that flat on there, and then you're gonna just be taking your little ring piece like that again and putting it on the back side, shifting it over there, and then you're gonna be able to take your little metal piece and then put it over the nipple that's showing onto the other side. All right, ring locked in place. Take your little weird metal piece, slide that on over. All right, next bushing, same deal. You're just gonna grab your bushing. The lip is going to be on the bottom. So lip on the bottom, the ring portion that you're gonna use in a second is gonna be on the top. I'm not sure, there's a better vision. So ring on the bottom, just like this. So you're just gonna reach over and you're just gonna put that through. Nice and simple. Put that right back over the nipple here. Again, that's going to be really, really tight because that is why we're doing it. Take that. Make sure you have it pushed down far enough. You're going to take your little ring, just like the back one. You're going to take that and slide that right into the slot. Bam, locked and loaded. And then you have your little hole on the very top where you're just going to take your little pin piece, slide that right back on through, just like this, and bam, you're back in the game. We're going to go ahead and jump inside the car and get this whole center console pulled up so we can go ahead and get straight to the short shifter assembly change out. Jumping it right into the middle console thing here, all you're going to see is two 10mm bolts down there. I already loosened these up, so I'm just going to reach down and pull those out. But that's that. So take out those with two 10s. And then this little center console piece is the next portion that you pop out. Now, I did a little plastic panel remover like this, but you can do whatever. And all you're going to do is start on the back side and get the panel removed. As you can see, it separates just from the top right there. And you're going to be able to slide this thing right on over. All right, now that is a plug right there. Again, for the video, I made it nice and easy and unplugged it. But yeah, I just unplugged that and got rid of that. Next, I'm just gonna reach in here and just grab this shifter and you just spin this lefty-loosey style. And as you can see, this thing comes right off nice and easy. All right, so now after popping out your two 10s and taking out this little center console and unplugging this, you're just gonna reach under this little plastic panel right here and evenly push this off the sides. As you can see, it just comes off with the hand like this. Slides right off, nice and simple. Put that to the side here. Okay, so now after popping off your panel right here and took off the shift knob, obviously, right back here, tucked up under here, you're gonna have two Phillips screws. Now you should be able just to kind of not even have to take those off this other piece and shimmy your thing like back there like this and just give a nice push down and torque it off and take out your two Phillips. And then this whole little center console, when you'll see me get pushed down, it will just separate right from this panel right here and we can take the whole assembly out. All right, two Phillips out as I said, and then you just literally just kind of pull up on the back side here, just give it a little snug pull, and you're able to get this whole console right out of here.
Work of art, man. Like, you know how Japanese like to do everything so.
Okay, so the whole center console is out, as I said. It just pops right apart. Now we have the actual base bushings that we're going to put in first. So these are the base bushings. There's just these four little pieces that's going to be replacing these rubber ones that are under here. Under here, okay, so you have a 12 here, a 12 here, 12mm there, and a 12mm right there. Under the 12mm, in between this actual shifting assembly and the body, you will have these little rubber bushings. That obviously has a little bit of a flex to it, so you upgrade to these super hard, whatever composite that is, and you just swap those out, and then after doing that, we'll get straight to changing out the actual shifter. All right, all the screws are pulled out the corners over here. I did pull out the first bushing just to actually show you, and then I'll pop out the other four. This is the bushing. So this is from the bottom side. It sits just like this with the metal bracket on the bottom. I just took a screwdriver and just pushed those through on each one. But as you can see, these are rubber. So when you actually move the shifter around there, the actual shifting box, it could have a little bit of flexibility. Probably not a drastic amount, but regardless, it does come with the kit. So these are the new ones. So you take this new one, which is super solid piece, and you're going to go ahead and put that right to the bottom side, put your screws back in, and then you have all your base shifter bushings all upgraded. All right, so now we got all 4 screws back in the corners over here with those super solid bushings under there, making the actual shifter assembly just a little more secure and solid when you're shifting. So now we'll go ahead and get straight to taking this apart. All right, so now we have the base bushings on the very bottom and all those 12 millimeters tightened back down. To get this portion off right here, what we're gonna be doing is trying to push these pins all the way through and then releasing it out the backside over here. To make that happen, you got to get these little washers off. So I'm gonna get a little pick and just hammer it kind of back in between there and just fling these things off. Some people like to use little Dremels to just kind of tap them, and that way you can cut these off. These do get replaced with brand new ones that came with the kit, so you don't worry about reusing those. So however you need to, go ahead and get these little bad boys off the washers and go ahead and just hammer through your little pins on both sides. Okay, and as you guys can see, I did get these off. They were a bit of a pain in the butt. I did get the Dremel on there a tiny bit and made a little Dremel edge to the corner, and then was able to get the screwdriver back there and pry both those off, the big and the small. And it does, again, like I said, it provides you with a new big and a new small. It does have one extra for each of those, probably if you mess that thing up or have to take it back off and put it back on. And that's that. So you also have this nut thing too that will be going onto this in a second here, and you tighten that down with the Allen key, and that'll actually keep the shift boot up where you need, depending on what type of shift knob that you put back on here. That being said though, so you're gonna reach down and get some type of little pin pusher or whatever, and you're gonna hammer these pins out, both all the way through to the other side. Mind you, you do have this little spring mechanism, so just remember how it goes. One over here and one over the bottom here, and you're gonna be able to take this whole little center piece out. All right, now, so with both of those pins out, as you can see, this is all just loose goose now. So you're able just to slide this portion right off of this. Mind you, this little thing is scissoring the actual thing. So slide this off just like this and set this to the side. And then just remember how your spring went, and you can slide your spring right off just like that. Again, you're gonna be crisscrossing it like that and going right back over that as you saw, but just remember how it went. As you can see, everything is greased up here, which we'll be doing it again in a second here just to really get a smoothness to it. We'll go ahead and you can just slide this little top portion right off. And after you've done that, onto the other side and got the spring and all that crap out of here, you just have this little ball connecting to the bottom. As you can see, there's a little line on each side. So I'm gonna set you guys down to do it, but you're just gonna be pushing this one to one side like this and up and over it. And then same thing with the other side at the same time, mind you, and that ball mechanism will be able to slide away from that shifter portion. Bomb. And just like that, you saw I did put my fingers in there, push both on each of those sides, and the ball mechanism will just slide right out, and then you can take this whole little assembly right out just like this. All right, perfect. So back over to the desk area over here. Today, just it's on top of the washer. We're gonna be taking this from this is the stock one next to the new one. So again, I've already said it before, but it is a 32% reduction in throw from first to second style, and then the actual height is 1 1/4 inch shorter. So it'll definitely make a substantial difference to it. So from here though, you actually just need from the stock one this little white portion right here. So what I like to do is get some type of something just like this, and just get on each side of it, and and that way you have an even push to each, and then you're able just to pop it right off. Haha, just kidding, man. I just popped it right off of my fingers instead. But yeah, so do it however you want. Go ahead and squeeze that bad boy off. Now, at this point, remember, we are greasing this up. As you saw, it has grease all over this, all over the ball on the bottom, ball in the center, and then there's gonna be some spots on the inside we're gonna do. So right now, you just need to decide what type of grease you're gonna do. So before putting this back on to this one right here, you have a couple different options. So in the past, I have actually used the white lithium grease, which is a very popular, long-lasting lubricant. Works very, very good. This is what I did on mine and my other buddies. But I also do have just regular premium style grease like this. This is high temp, ignore that. But premium grease, you do put this on all types of different joints and stuff like that. I think this is actually lubricates a little better than the white lithium grease. Same, argue the difference, whatever you want to do. But we're gonna go ahead and put some of this lubricant on there. So we're gonna go ahead and lather this up on the bottom over here. We're gonna be doing it on the other shifter portion right here, and then we'll be doing it on the main ball portion right here, and then inside the car I'll show you a couple more spots we're gonna do it to, and then just reassembly. To get this portion back on, pretty simple. I'm gonna put it down like that, right on top, right back in it. And again, it's all greased up, nice and lathered up, boom, boom. Let's jump back in the car. All right, so back into the car with the shifter. Again, we converted our little white piece over there with grease packed in there already. We greased up the edge here as well as the ball mechanism. This is the top portion that went over. As you can see, there's still some grease in there. I will be applying a little bit, probably cleaning that off and putting a little bit more in there. As well as you have these pins up here. These are the pins that went through. As you can see, they're all lubricated up. I'll be wiping those down, putting fresh lubricant on those, as well as over here. You do have a little bit on there. So I'll just be making sure that all these spots that you already had grease on, just make sure they all have it on there pretty much. That's what I'm trying to get to. So go ahead and grease everything up. We'll slide this right back on, connect the bottom portion first, and then we'll work on getting our pins back through. All right, now as you can see, I actually lubricated the bottom little portion here. It was gonna slide that right back down, right into its groove. Now that bottom little tiny thing, as you guys can see, it should be able to just push right through and pop right past those little springs. Bam, just like that. And is back in the groove, man. So now with that being said, we'll go ahead and take this little piece right here. Everything greased up very, very well. Slide that right back on over, and then we'll work on getting the pins back through. Don't forget that you got your little spring mechanism that goes on there that you're gonna be pulling apart to slide back over this portion right here. All right, so now the next thing is, after you got your little skinny one through there, we'll put the washer on the backside in a second here. You have your spring and the thick one. So basically what you're gonna be doing is just taking this and you're gonna put this back over there. First though, you're gonna go ahead and put your little spring mechanism over this, and you're gonna be able to, again, separate them up, and squeeze them right over like that. I'm gonna get a close-up on that in a second, but you do that, push these together like this, take your pin, and just work that right back through. And as promised, I just want to give you a little close-up of that. This is the spring mechanism, how it goes. It goes over that little center groove right there. After you get it together, it's going to be self-explanatory because it can't go anywhere else. But yeah, so remember separating that, getting it right over the center like that. Hammer that thing on both sides all the way back through, exposing the other side. Remember they gave you those little fresh washers right there, so obviously the big one goes on the big one, small one on the small one. You're actually going to be, just in case you're wondering, these are kind of like one-sided disc. You're actually going to be putting the disc against it. So basically making it like this is going to go against that. That doesn't make any sense, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, so as you guys can see, I lightly have these on here right now. I just pressed them on, but haven't pushed them down all the way, and that's because they're a little bit of a tough thing to get on. So what you're gonna do is, first one's first, is I'm gonna get the bigger one. Now mind you, this bigger one's gonna have the spikes on the one side and it's gonna be flat on the other. The flat side pretty clearly goes against it, and then the spikes are sticking out. And then you have the other one, and it's gonna do the same thing. It is kind of a deep dish style, so the part that sticks out is gonna be towards you, and the part that is flat on the other side is gonna be towards the shifter assembly. So what I'm gonna do is get some type of socket. Currently, I'm gonna probably grab, let's see right here, I'm gonna grab this 12mm, and I'm just gonna be able to put it over there like this. Now mind you, you're gonna wanna put your hand on the other side so it doesn't move out on you. But you're just gonna be putting your finger on the other side, getting a little hammer action, and just tapping that thing in nice and even at the same time. And that will be that. As you can see, it is exposing the other side, nice and flush, nice and tight all the way through. We'll do the same thing to this other side, and then we will get to putting that nut portion on to get this whole assembly back together. All right, and that is it. As you can see, got plenty of clearance on the other side. They're both sitting completely flush and flat on there. Got grease and everything. Shifter is back together. The 12mm tightened back down for the base shifter bushing, all that good stuff. Everything is good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this nut up on the top over here, and we'll just be putting this on. Again, this is basically what it does. Basically, it slides on here. Depending on what type of shifter knob you have, you can bring this thing up and down depending on your boot. And then this little thing right here, you just tighten with the Allen key that they have provided you. Tighten that thing down to your specification where you wanna be at, and let's put this whole thing back together. All right, bam. All the bushings changed out in the engine bay on the top of that trans as well as down here. Got the short shifter assembled, all greased up, nice and simple. Again, 1.25 inches down, so you can see this thing's a little bit shorter. 32% less of a throw. So clutch in, as you can see, bam. I mean, look how short those throws are. Super nice and simple. It really tightens them up. As you can see, when it's actually in its gear, here's a third gear, actually in the gear second. I mean, it is, the play from left to right is almost virtually gone in comparison to what it's normally like. And again, the shifts are nice and short and smooth. Super awesome. To add to that, we are actually going to do next on this car, we're going to be changing out the transmission fluid from the stock transmission fluid to the Redline cocktail fluid. A lot of you guys probably already know about this, but stock transmissions, as we already know, do have a third gear clunk, man. It's natural. Don't worry about it if you already have it. There is a fix for it. We are doing this in the next video. We're doing the Redline cocktail fluid. You do this double combo of 2 different fluids, and it completely takes away that crunch. It's absolutely amazing, does magic work, and he won't be having that issue anymore. So that is happening in the next video after the short shifter to really hone in on daily driving this thing comfortably. So stay tuned for that, guys, and yeah, that's it. All right, and he is back out of here, y'all. That is how you get a short shifter installed in your car with all the bushings. But that was that, man. Tighten it up, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions, comments, concerns, section below. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. See you in the next one.